I know how this sounds. Mannequins aren't supposed to move. They're lifeless, decorative, soulless plastic figures designed to show off the latest sales rack garbage. But I swear to you, something followed me home. And it's not human. Let me back up a bit. I walk home the same way every evening, left at the gas station, past the laundromat, then down Melrose until I hit my building. Routine, comforting even. Except for one thing, the old department store on the corner of 8th. It used to be a big deal decades ago. Now, it's just a boarded-up relic with flickering neon and dust-choked glass. Most of the mannequins inside were either knocked over or missing limbs. Until she appeared. I noticed her last Tuesday. One mannequin, standing upright in the front display. Too clean, too perfect. Waxy skin, almost glowing in the dirty light. Her pose was stiff, arms straight, feet together, head tilted slightly like she was studying me. But it was the eyes that did it. They weren't painted. They were glass, shiny, wet-looking, too lifelike to ignore. They didn't look out of the window. They looked at me. I laughed it off at first, told myself it was nothing. But the next night her pose had changed. Her head was straight now, and her right arm was bent, just slightly. So subtle I almost missed it, but I didn't. I stopped, stared. Something crawled across my skin. I pulled out my phone and snapped a picture, just to prove I wasn't going insane. And then I looked at it. She wasn't in the photo. Everything else was there. Dusty shelves, broken props, even the cracked glass. But the mannequin, gone. I looked up again. She was still standing there, right in the center of the display. I didn't take another photo. I just walked, fast. The next night I tried not to look, kept my head down, told myself to stop feeding the paranoia, but my eyes drifted anyway. And this time, her hand was pressed against the glass, palm flat, right where my face was. I didn't stop, didn't blink, just kept walking. But the rest of the way home, I could feel it, like something was following me. Not behind me, inside me. And that night, I swear I heard tapping on my window. 3 soft knocks, just like fingers, thin ones. That night I didn't sleep. I tried. I really did. I left a lamp on in the hallway, closed my blinds, turned on some white noise, but I still heard it. 3 soft taps against the window. Then again, my apartment's on the 3rd floor. There's no balcony, no fire escape. Nothing outside that window except 20 feet of open air. At 3:17 a.m., I got up and pulled the curtain aside. Nothing there, just the empty street, flickering amber from the streetlight below. But for some reason, I couldn't bring myself to open the window. Something in my chest clenched, like if I opened it, something would be waiting, breathing, watching. The next morning I laughed it off, told myself I was overtired, spooked from too many horror podcasts. I even joked about it at work. I think I've got a haunted mannequin situation going on. Everyone laughed. I laughed too. But it didn't feel like a joke. That evening, I took a different route home. Avoided the store completely. Took the long way. An extra 4 blocks just to give myself peace of mind. It didn't work. Because when I opened the door to my apartment, something was off. Nothing major, just subtle. My keys weren't where I left them. My coat had been moved, still on the hook, but twisted as if someone had tugged it. The chair at my kitchen table was slightly pulled out. I live alone. No roommates, no pets, no explanation. I started wondering if I was losing my mind. Maybe it was stress or some kind of breakdown. Maybe I just wanted something, anything to explain why I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I told myself I was being dramatic, that I probably left it that way. But when I went to bed, I put a chair in front of my door, just in case. It sounds dumb, I know, but it made me feel better. For a while, I dreamed about her. In the dream, I thought I heard something. A whisper, a name, maybe. Emily. It barely registered, like background noise, but it stuck with me. The mannequin. She was in my apartment, standing in the kitchen under the pale yellow light, motionless, hands at her sides, head slowly turning toward me, inch by inch. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. No sound, no breath, just that empty, hollow expression. When I woke up, the chair was moved. It was still near the door, but shifted, turned about 30 degrees, like someone had nudged it aside gently to step through. That was the moment I knew this wasn't in my head. Later that day, I walked past the store again, against my better judgment. I told myself I needed to see, needed proof that this was just anxiety. But the store was sealed up, metal shutters, padlocked, graffiti tagged. No light inside, no mannequin, no anything. It was like it had never been open, like I imagined the whole thing, except I didn't. Because that night, when I came home, she was across the street, standing under the broken street light, still, silent, and exactly as I remembered her. Same tilt of the head, same waxy skin, same impossible glass eyes. I stood at my window, phone in hand, trying to convince myself to call the police. But what would I say? "Hi, officer. There's a mannequin stalking me. She was in a store window. Now she's following me. Could you please arrest her?" I didn't make the call. I just watched as the streetlight flickered, buzzed, and then went out. When it came back on a few seconds later, she was gone. The next night I didn't sleep. I didn't even try. I kept every light in my apartment on, sat in my living room with a baseball bat in one hand and my phone in the other, 911 already queued up, just in case. I even dragged my full-length mirror out of the bedroom and faced it toward the front door. I don't know why. Maybe I just wanted a way to see behind me. By 2:45 a.m., nothing had happened. And then, my hallway light flickered. Once, twice, then out. Total silence. I stood up, waited. That's when I heard it. Not the tapping this time. Not the window. Something heavier, dragging. A slow, deliberate shuffle across the floor above me. Only, I live on the top floor. My chest tightened. I held my breath, ears straining. The sound came again. Drag, pause, drag, pause. Then it stopped. I crept toward the door, every instinct in me screaming to stay still, stay quiet. But I needed to know. I opened the door just a crack, just enough to peek into the hallway. Empty, but something was there. Pressed flat against the far wall across from me, a dusty imprint, humanoid, as if something had stood there for hours, unmoving. Dust clinging to the shape of shoulders, and a face. I slammed the door, locked it, double locked it, moved the couch in front of it. I wanted to run, book a hotel, sleep in my car, something. But I was scared that if I left, she'd follow, and worse, she might not wait for me to come back next time. Sat in the corner until sunrise. When the morning finally came, I told myself it had to be a prank, a weird, elaborate trick. Maybe someone found an old mannequin and was messing with me. So I went to the leasing office downstairs, asked to see the hallway camera footage. They said the cameras were down. Something about wiring. Maintenance was already notified. Of course. Back upstairs, I noticed something new. When I passed by the hallway mirror, something felt wrong. My reflection was delayed, like it blinked a second too late. I chalked it up to nerves, but then I saw it. A single, pale fingerprint on the inside of my bathroom mirror. It wasn't mine. I hadn't even been in there yet. That night I left every light on again, sat in the same spot, but this time I dozed off, just for a minute. And when I woke up, she was standing in my hallway, not moving, not breathing. Just there, no sound, no footsteps, nothing. She was posed like she always was, arms down, feet together, head ever so slightly tilted. But this time, there was something in her hand. My phone. I hadn't even realized it was missing. I couldn't scream, couldn't speak. I just stared at her while my lungs forgot how to work. Then, she blinked. Not a big motion, not dramatic, just a soft, unnatural flutter of the eyes. I scrambled for the bat, swung wildly, but she was gone. No crash, no footsteps, no door slam. Just gone. The only thing left behind, a faint trail of dust leading back toward my bedroom and on my bed. My phone sitting perfectly in the center of the pillow, unlocked, camera open, gallery full of new photos, all of me, sleeping, and in every single one, she's there in the background, getting closer. I couldn't stay in the apartment after that. I packed a duffel bag in 10 minutes, left everything else behind. Laptop, clothes, even my toothbrush. I just wanted out. I crashed on my friend Marcus's couch, told him I was dealing with a stalker situation, which wasn't a total lie. He didn't ask too many questions, just handed me a beer and told me I could stay as long as I needed. I slept better that first night. No tapping, no blinking plastic eyes, no dragging noises, but I still dreamed. The mannequin was in Marcus's living room now, standing between the couch and the TV. She didn't move, didn't speak, but the tension in the air was unbearable, like gravity thickened around her. When I woke up, I was soaked in sweat, and Marcus was sitting across from me, pale and silent. "You okay?" I asked. He nodded slowly, then said, "Man, I think someone was in the apartment last night." I froze. "What do you mean?" "I don't know. I thought it was a shadow. It was just standing by the window. I figured it was you at first, but it didn't move. And when I blinked, it was gone." He tried to laugh it off, but he didn't look convinced. Neither was I. That day I dug deep, started researching the department store. It took hours, but I finally found something. I remembered something strange from a few nights earlier. In one of my dreams, someone whispered a name. Just once. Muffled and distant. It sounded like M. I thought it was nothing. Now, I'm not so sure. Back in 1993, there was an accident during a store remodel. A night shift worker was found dead in the display room. Cause of death was never released. The weird part? They found her posed. Some claimed the worker was found smiling. Others said there was no body at all. Just a new mannequin in the window the next morning. Her name was Emily Delane, 24, no known family. It was like she had been swallowed by the store and never let go. Some even say the store used to change displays overnight, without staff, like it was alive. One janitor told a reporter he quit because the mannequins moved when the lights flickered. No one believed him, until Emily vanished, arms at her sides, head tilted, eyes wide open, just like a mannequin. I even found an old grainy photo attached to the article. The body was censored, but the shape, the posture, it was her. I slammed my laptop shut. That night I didn't sleep at Marcus's. I booked a cheap motel across town under a fake name. I left my phone off, covered the bathroom mirror. I even sprinkled a salt line across the windowsill, the base of the door, and around the bed. I don't know why I thought it would work. I must have drifted off. One moment, I was staring at the ceiling, and then something shifted. The air thickened, my ears popped, like pressure changed. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. My motel room was gone. I was back in my apartment, but it wasn't mine anymore. The walls were covered in faded department store wallpaper. The window was spotless, framed by display lighting. My furniture had been replaced with a red velvet bench. A spotlight hummed above me, and across the room, behind a glass pane I'd never seen before, was me, standing perfectly still, arms at my sides, head slightly tilted, wearing the exact clothes I'd worn to bed. But I wasn't moving. I wasn't blinking. And the version of me still sitting in the corner, that one started to fade. My skin felt heavy, limbs frozen in place, breath shallow and slow. It wasn't a dream. She hadn't just followed me home. She'd brought me into her world and made me part of the display. I don't know how I got out. 1 second, I was staring at my own frozen body across the room, posed, spotlighted like a mannequin in a window. The next, I was outside, back on the street. No memory of running, no shoes on my feet, just cold pavement and headlights. So I left the city that night, didn't go home. I checked my phone once, thought about calling Marcus, but the only thing in my text thread was a photo. Him, fast asleep on his couch, and just behind him, she was there, head tilted, watching. Didn't call anyone. I just walked until I found a 24-hour bus station and boarded the first outbound coach I could afford. Destination didn't matter. I just needed distance. There were 10 other passengers. Everyone kept to themselves, except for the man across the aisle who kept staring at me. Not in a creepy way, more like concern. "You okay?" he asked softly. I nodded. But inside I wasn't, because I hadn't told anyone what scared me most. She had taken my reflection. Since the motel, mirrors don't work right. I look into them, and it's me, yes, but not really. The expressions are off. Movements are delayed by just a second. Sometimes my reflection smiles when I don't. I haven't looked into a mirror since. The bus rolled through the night. I tried to sleep, but the hum of the engine kept giving way to something else. A soft plastic creak, that familiar sound, the sound of her moving. I opened my eyes. She was there, 3 rows up, standing in the aisle. No one reacted. She didn't move, just stood between the seats, posed perfectly, like she belonged. But something felt different. Her posture, her outfit, the slight slump in her shoulders. It wasn't exactly her anymore. It looked like me. Was that still the mannequin? Or was that what I looked like now? I closed my eyes tight, told myself I was hallucinating, sleep deprived, traumatized, that if I opened them again, she'd be gone. I opened them. She was now 1 row closer. I bolted from my seat, heart slamming against my chest like a trapped animal. I ran to the front of the bus and told the driver I needed off. He glanced at me in the mirror and said, "What girl?" There was no one there. I got off at the next stop anyway, some nameless town wrapped in fog and silence. I didn't even wait for sunrise. I checked into a cheap motel. Again, I didn't sleep. I couldn't, because the room already had signs she'd been there. The bed was turned down. The mirror was draped with a sheet, and on the desk, facing me perfectly straight, was an old department store name tag. Emily. I never knew her name until now. The rest is harder to explain. It's been 3 days. I don't think I've eaten. I don't feel tired. But I haven't moved. Not really. My arms won't lift anymore. My legs feel heavy, stiff. When I breathe, it sounds like wind moving through an empty bottle. Shallow, hollow. I sit in the corner of the room now, watching the door, waiting. Not for her, for someone else. Because last night I saw my reflection in the window. Only it wasn't just watching. It smiled and stepped away. Without me. I think I'm fading, or freezing, or turning into something else entirely. A display, an exhibit. I don't even feel fear anymore. Just stillness. Perfect, quiet stillness. If someone finds this recording, don't come looking. Don't try to help. I should have never stopped to look. That first night, when she was just a figure behind glass, I should have just kept walking, because she's not just a mannequin. She's a vacancy, an empty shape that needs to be filled. And I think she finally found someone to take her place. Me. And now, outside the glass, people pass by. They don't stop. They don't see me. But I see them, and every once in a while, someone looks a little too long, and I feel it again. That first twitch, that first tilt of the head, like the next one, is almost ready. And maybe this time, I'll be the one watching from behind the glass.